Let's go.
All right. Well, welcome to Icewind Dale, Rime of the Frostmaiden. You brave souls.
Woohoo!
Woo!
Yay.
That's David at 10.
Icewind Dale
Oop.
has become trapped in perpetual winter.
There, I can do that.
Ferocious blizzards make the mountain pass through the spine.
That was inappropriate and unfortunate, and it shouldn't have done that. Icewind Dale has become trapped in a perpetual winter. Ferocious blizzards make the mountain pass through the spine of the world exceedingly treacherous, and this land has not felt the warmth of the sun in over 2 years. In fact, the sun no longer appears above the mountains, not even what should be the height of summer. In this frozen tundra, darkness and bitter cold reign as king and queen. Most Dale residents blame Auriel, the Frostmaiden, the god of winter's wrath. The shimmering aurora that weaves across the sky each night is said to be her doing, a potent spell that keeps the sun at bay. Dale folk living in a scattering of settlements known as Ten Towns tried to eke out the survival on a daily basis. The drop offs in caravans coming from the south and travel between the settlements in this never ending winter has left everyone feeling isolated. Although each town has resolved to appease the Frost Maiden with sacrifices of one kind or another, no respite from winter's fury seems forthcoming. For adventurers such as yourself, Ten Towns is a place to test one's mettle and, in the spirit of heroes who have come before, leave one's mark on this frigid, blighted land. At this time, we will cut to the perspective of one of your party members, or maybe not your future party member, but a small, very well bundled against the cold figure trudges through a white, blasted landscape. After many 10 days of travel, always northward, always pressing forward, this figure spies, not far ahead, the walls of a settlement. These walls stretch above the dunes of snow and drifting, blowing snow, a good solid 30 feet. As he approaches, he sees 15-foot tall, massive gates. At this point, still open in what should be high noon, though the light being cast right now is barely that of twilight, as the sun is nowhere to be seen in the overcast sky. Passing through these gates, he sees several militia bundled again also in furs and hooded cloaks and thick gloves manning the walls. He proceeds through the streets of this settlement, never seeing very many people on the street. Nothing like what would be expected to be seen further south. Filbert, would you like to describe your character to the rest of us?
Sure. I am a short little guy. I believe just a little over 3 feet, if I remember correctly. I am looking for it now, and I don't see it. um, Sort of dark, ruddy skin, brown eyes, dark hair, and beard. Again, dressed for the cold weather I'm not used to. Bundled up, hooded cloak with furs pulled over. There's a bow slung over my back, and a quiver of arrows, small pint-sized rapier at the side. I am trudging forth to the settlements of 10 towns, as I was clued in that I could find some civilization here.
So as Filbert makes his way through the streets of this settlement of looking for any signs of life, a tavern, an inn, some place where he can find a night's respite from the massive amounts of cold and that he's been dealing with. Um, and then the streets of Bryn Shander, where he finds himself, are less than inviting. Most doors are closed to him. Very little light is seen behind windows tightly shuttered. Um, what few individuals that you pass are bundled and nondescript. It's impossible to get much of any kind of sense of who might be below those furs as you trudge through the near twilight of these streets. However, you're able to get a little bit of direction here and there as you proceed,
Well,
and you push through what seems like the length of uh, Bryn Shander and head towards the north gate. Your destination that you've been pointed out to is a tavern. As all good places start. And so you look for the Northlook Tavern. Seeing it at last, you make your way and you push the heavy door aside and move to enter into the crowded common room of the Northlook. You see most very bustling room. This is the place where adventurers in times past and folks from the south would conglomerate and gather. Mercenaries, sellswords, adventurers would come here and look for work or adventure. It's maybe a bit more subdued than in times past, but it is still the gathering place of many of the folk of 10 towns who come to this, the largest settlement of all of the 10 towns. You look, and most of the tables this evening are filled. However, you see one larger table that seems to have a motley assortment of folk gathered off in one corner with a bit of an inviting area and an open space that seems to beckon towards you. As you move over, you see that there are 5 others already at that, this of various sizes and shapes. The rest of you, sitting at the table, all of you have come to Bryn Shander for your own reasons from the various parts of 10 towns where you hail from. You see this bundled up small individual walking towards you as he begins to shred off the layers of his cold winter clothing. And seeing A halfling male. And that's where we'll pick it up.
Do you need a seat, stranger? Join us. Company is always welcome. A new story would be a good thing tonight.
Absolutely. Have a seat. Welcome to all here.
Thank you. I will make myself at home at the table.
So, what brings you to this frozen wasteland? Certainly not the weather.
The weather's not so bad.
I should say not the weather. You're right. I was part of an engineer corps that was contracted to come and map and survey the area from Mirabar over the spine to this area. But my group was cut short by a small group of frost giants. I was able to make it out alive after
Wait a second.
sneaking away.
A group of frost giants?
Never a good thing.
That's
That
correct.
must be terrifying.
You escaped a group of frost giants.
Barely. With the help of a tribe of orcs that came from, I believe, many arrows to the east.
My mother always said there was luck in the small folk.
That is true.
I've heard the same thing.
Mickey, I don't know how this works. I don't have history, but is this like something I might know for the area? Do I roll for that? Like, how do we approach that? Or do I just not know?
You can roll a history if you'd like to see if you've heard of anything like that.
Sure. Okay.
While he's doing that, so tell us of continue your story. Your name again?
Oh yes, my name is Filbert Pineclimber.
Well,
I was originally from the woods and foothills north of the Sword Coast. Is where I grew up, but I traveled to Mirabar to train with some of the engineers and surveyors of the dwarves.
well, sounds like you could use a drink.
That I can.
Is this a normal tavern that I hang out in?
Oh yeah, and as well, you tell me. I mean, you are in Bryn Shander,
Right.
but you've been there now for a little while, so you see the waitress who has been taking care of you. She seems a little bit frazzled, but she sees your raised hand and motions that she's on her way.
Okay.
How do the rest of us all know each other? We're all sitting around this table.
Well, you've been sitting at this table. Why don't you, Tarek, introduce yourself? Let us know what everybody sees when you're sitting there.
Well, I am Thea Dineland, and she is blonde, has very fair skin, but it's extremely like ruddy and wind burned from living in 10 towns her entire life. She's actually from a small fishing town in 10 towns called Dugan's Hole.
Well, you don't have to go into that. Just give physical descriptions.
Oh. Okay. She's obviously got very much obviously clerical vestments, and she's got some minor bling here and there with some hints of sunshine, which is very ironic considering our current climb.
God, I'm gonna get your names down, and I gotta change your name in Roll20 as well, Joe, so that I can. Dodvin, with your 1 on your history roll, you have absolutely no idea of anything that he's talking
Yeah,
about
that
whatsoever.
was with 2 dice, so that's why I re-rolled it. So sorry.
Is
That's
that
all right.
officially the first roll of the game?
It
There
is.
was a 1?
Well, technically, he rolled a
Yeah.
2 because he has a -1 on history, so it was not a full
But a 1
crit
on the
fail. Yeah.
That
So
could be a notorious beginning. A 1 on the first roll.
No, but it was a 2 on
Yeah.
the die. It was a 2 on the die.
2 dice rolled at the same time. I didn't know what I was doing, so.
Yeah. So just a point of one, and we'll break it a couple times tonight, probably
Yeah.
for this kind of stuff. You'll see up on top there's a toggle switch in red. What says advantage, disadvantage? You probably had advantage checked.
No, I hit it twice too fast, and that caused 2 dice to roll.
That'll do it.
I
That'll
did
do it
have
too.
it not at advantage, so.
Well, it was weird because both of them were still on the screen. Usually when that happens, one rolls and then the other one
Yeah.
rolls. Anyway.
It did that to me yesterday when it was like lagging.
Yay. So yes, off to a good start with a 1. That's the way to start a game. Get it out of the way.
Get out of the way.
So looking around the tavern that you're in right now, the North Look is a interesting place. It has clearly been here for a great long time. It has been built out of exceedingly thick and strong timbers harvested from the forest near the spine of the world, not far from here, but quite some time ago. Those of you from 10 Towns know from lore that the North Look has been here since the founding, when this was nothing but a trading outpost built up on the hill before the settlement of all the other 9 towns in the area. As such, the tavern, the North Look. It boasts 3 full stories and is built stout enough to withstand the cold and the brutal blizzards that it is subjugated to. The common room that you're in, however, is famed because of the massive amount of carving and scrimshaw that has been done to it over the years. Almost every single pillar and rafter has been carved and boasts fantastical beasts, scenes of battle, and here and there, gods and goddesses mixed in with almost, shall we say, almost pornographic nature of the Fae carvings that have been fancifully done. All of which are constantly being buffed and waxed to maintain so that every surface almost seems to catch the light and glow. Even in these difficult times in Icewind Dale, the North Look still has its warmth and its charm. So as you get the waitress's attention, she comes over. Another round there, love.
Absolutely, and one for our new friend here as well.
Oh, isn't he a precious little thing? What can I get for you there, love? Anything particular? Just the house special.
Filbert?
Are you on mute?
Did we lose Filbert?
You might have.
I can see him. He's right there. Bit of a cat-like face to the little man, isn't it?
He'll just have what I'm having, I suppose.
Oh, very good, very good. Lots to do, lots to do.
Ale will always treat someone from the cold well.
Since he's not here, I'll take that drink.
He's frozen. He's got frostbite. He's losing his mind. He doesn't know what's going on.
He just walked in from outside for Ogla's sake.
The frost giant Saturn.
They've been after him. That's the story.
So
Yeah.
she bolsters off. She comes back, with a serving tray in hand, and goes to put down mugs in front of each of you, looking expectantly for her pay. And,
Yes.
who's got this
I'll
round, eh?
contribute it, you know. If someone else bought the last round, I'll buy this round. Otherwise, I'll contribute. I don't know what our policy is.
That's 2 silver there, love, for the table.
This time, I'll get it. So I'll mark that off.
Oh, isn't he a generous
Thank you.
big lad?
And I do tip her.
Excellent. And at this point, this would be a good time to describe yourself. Dodovan? Or Dodvin? Or
Dodvin.
Dodvin.
Dodvin is seated. He looks like a rather large dwarf, except the proportions are all wrong. A giant of an individual by most of your standards. I don't think there's anybody who's even close in this particular table. At this particular table, the big meaty hands and everything associated to being a big fellow, the lush, well-groomed beard, bright blue eyes, and a friendly but grim face. More of a realistic face. And I pick up my tankard when we get served, and I say, hopefully, Kellenvor does not need to judge you tonight. And then I'll take a sip.
Okay.
The reason why he's paying is because he's also doing most of the drinking.
Huzzah!
Isn't that special?
I need
Well,
to drink a few to feel it.
Well, Lysander cares not about my imbibing. As long as I am spreading his light in the world, he does not pass that judgment.
Hear, hear.
She goes. The waitress goes to put down a drink down in front of the smallest of the company at the table. She's got a hood up and whatnot. And it appears that this is the first time she's caught a glimpse of her face. Oh, and she jumps back a little bit. Well, then that's there for you. Great, then that'll be all then. And pulls away from Winzira.
Thank you. Sorry about earlier.
Yeah, well, that's okay. You didn't break the skin.
Just looked like you needed a hug. It's okay. We all need one every now and then.
Why don't you go and let them know? Tell us a little bit about Winzira, what they see.
So, what you see, or I get most of you have caught a glimpse of my face. Very, like little tiny sharp teeth, an elongated face, a little pointed ears, a bluish skin. I barely cap at 3 feet, and my coverings are a little oversized for somebody my size.
So,
I have instruments strapped around my my back. I have a lute. I have a rapier that's almost too big for me. Little daggers, little like toothpicks to some of you.
Back scratcher.
Pretty much.
Filbert!
Silver's back!
You see, Filbert had dropped something onto the ground. He went under the table and seemingly was lost for a moment, but came up and sees a large pint in front of him. And Filbert says, "Ba-dum. They come in pints." No, all right, maybe not.
He might still be running into tissues.
Yeah, it looks like it.
Can I ask for a repronunciation of the bard? Winsera? I couldn't catch the name.
Winzira.
Winzira.
Okay.
Imstal. Winzira Imstal, correct?
Correct.
Dankeschön.
You guys hear me now?
Yeah.
Filbert!
Welcome back.
Time for Filbert to get lit.
Yeah, sorry, something went out with the router.
Oh, that's never fun.
Life happens. We're frozen.
So as you kind of come up from below the table where you dropped your pouch, they put in front of you, Filbert, a pint of a frothing dark brown ale. So, who has not?
Halfling.
Yeah.
No one put poison in your drink. You can drink it.
Come on, lad! It'll help you warm up from the cold.
Good
He
for
lost
your
connection
spirit.
again.
Albion, they put in front of you. It looks like something different. What is it that you had ordered?
I ordered orc blood ale. Not really
Fancy.
made with orc blood. It's just, disgusting like orc blood. It's something only an orc would drink.
So you look over and you see this wild-haired, small individual. And why don't you tell them what they see, Albion?
You see a very small, 3-foot 3-inch, very light, and extraordinarily surly gnome.
And who's this?
Normally,
Albion?
Albion. Forest gnomes, like most gnomes, are known for being happy, not quite happy-go-lucky as halflings, but definitely pranksters and jokesters and people that are kid around and tease and stuff like that. Not me. I don't do things like that. If you ask me to, I'll shove this scimitar up your ass.
Huzzah!
The only thing I'm nice to, my pet raccoon.
Is he with you?
Yes. Feeding him under the table.
He's a baby!
His name is Battle Axe.
Excellent. I have been, while we have been hanging out, been obsessed with your pet raccoon.
So long as you feed him, we're probably okay.
Yeah. Giving him like peanuts or whatever the equivalent of that in this bar is.
Okay. You I tolerate.
I love trash pandas.
So through all of this frivolity and joy, camaraderie that you all seem to really grasp at because of the last almost years now of oppression of no sun and just the harshness of life in general these days. It feels really good to be in the presence of people willing to talk and new folk. There seems to be one of you, though, that sticks to the shadow of the table and keeps his hood up. A darker kind of fellow. He bought. What did you get, Roanoke?
So Roanoke's a fidgety type.
Roanoke, excuse me.
Roanoke. And he's kind of a wiry, like 20-something, and he looks like he doesn't there's in certain regions you'll have, I guess, features that's notable in the populace. He looks like he doesn't come from the north, but he's got the weathered tan skin of having lived here. Yeah, he's withdrawn but not silent. He's not the kind that doesn't engage in a conversation. So you've heard me already speaking. He doesn't quite know what to order. So he actually, in each one of these rounds, has ordered what somebody else ordered because he's not really sure what to do in this situation. He hasn't been in
Because
too many
mixing
bars.
alcohol is the best play to do. It's totally the best
That's
play
right.
to do.
Absolutely. And mind you, he definitely got one round of whatever that orc piss was. And
Orc's blood. Orc's blood.
oh, orc blood. Okay,
Orc's
there you go.
piss is a shot.
But he clearly says that he calls it orc's piss after drinking it, but he downed the whole thing.
I think I'm back. Can you guys hear me?
Orc's piss is
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes.
the
I offer
orc's
you a
piss
small
is
modicum
actually
of
a
respect.
frozen yellow confection that you get for dessert here in 10 Towns.
And if somebody brings that up, I will be completely unaware of it and just go, yes. Okay.
Welcome back, David. I know that's so frustrating. I have been there, and there's few things in
I don't
life.
know if it's the I don't know if it's the weather or what, but
Well,
think
hang out
we're
with us
okay
as long
now.
as you can.
Yes.
So yeah, Roanoke's in yeah, he's what I guess you call it textbook ranger garb, but it's like beaten from wind and cold and those elements. And that's me.
Cool.
Yep.
So, in all of our conversations, has anybody else mentioned that they're from here?
Did anybody
From
else
here?
mention if they were from here? You
Well,
mean from Bryn Shandor?
Yeah, or 10 Towns, because we were talking a little bit before Filbert came up, so I guess OOC, but...
Well, actually, you guys were kind of lost in your own thoughts and not so much conversation going on. Filbert was really the catalyst that got you all kind of speaking.
Okay.
You don't see
Okay,
many, yeah.
So, well, I can tell you 10 Towns is certainly an interesting place. I'm from, Dugan's, and it's, Bryn Shander's definitely the highlight, though.
it's cold.
Not much over there. Well, I mean, at least this place has art and appreciation for things. My town is fish. You like fish? We got fish. That's what we got. We got fish. We got fish, and we got people who don't like people.
I like your town.
I'll eat
Do
anything.
you have people who don't like fish?
I very much enjoy art. Where can we see art? Is there a museum of sorts?
Well, this very tavern is a museum. Look around you at all
I
the
can see that.
carving. That's mostly what I know. I mean, I don't know. Can I roll a history check to know where any museums are in Bryn
Absolutely.
Shander?
Absolutely.
All right.
Don't roll a 1.
Absolutely gonna roll a 1. Okay. Jinx. Okay.
That's not what I was trying to do.
The first roll of the game.
Here we go. Not bad. All right, and
Okay,
so
so-
that would be
So, point of roll 20. So you don't have to roll it that way, Tara. So, on your character sheet, you would just go to where it says history under your skills, and you would click the word history. And then it will
Right.
roll you a
Oh.
history and add in all your stuffy, all for you.
Sorry, I'm so nervous.
Don't be sorry.
I'm with you. It took me
Yeah.
forever to get. I was asking questions right before the stream.
Yeah. So that's plus 12. So or plus 3. So that would be 15.
Plus, I was like,
Sorry.
plus 12. Wow.
12. Yeah, plus 12.
She's never.
Shit.
She's a PhD. You know that the concept of a museum in 10 towns is somewhat ridiculous. That
Right.
that most all of the effort of people's days goes into survival. This is a very, very harsh environment. People have to struggle just to eat and to stay warm and not freeze to death.
Mickey, with a simple explanation from my brain anyway, we are living north of the wall in Game of Thrones terms. I'm not a fan of Game of Thrones, but it's a lot of people would get it.
If that's if you'd like, what Mitch said a great one. It's dune, and instead of desert, it's the cold.
I was thinking it was kind of like Skyrim.
Yeah, and and that's a good one too.
Yeah.
For those of you other than Filbert, though, who have spent significant time up here, up till 2 years ago, it wasn't like this. It was more like Skyrim. Yeah, it was cold and it was snowy and all that, but it was livable, and it wasn't such a struggle. But 2 years and you have not had sun, and it is now become a very, very difficult place. And many of you have thought about leaving. Many of the residents have tried to leave, but the same thing that's keeping the sun away is keeping those passes absolutely blocked, and blizzards, and it's a scene from The Lord of the Rings with the Karak. The passes are treacherous, and most people who try to leave don't make it. So it is now become a grim place.
Are there wild theories that we've heard as to why things changed in the last 2 years? Has this ever happened before up here, for instance, that it's gone this long?
No, as I said before, you guys, people know what the reason is. Every single night, looking up into the sky, you are able to see why. The Frostmaiden is keeping it this way. You have a god who has decided to make it this way.
Mm-hmm.
Who is sitting next to me at the table?
Who asked that? I'm sorry.
That's Filbert. Who am I sitting next to at the table?
I'll be sitting next to you.
Yeah, you guys are at a rounder table. So I would say, Filbert, you have the big giant of a man, Dadvin, on one side, and you have Roanoke on the other side.
All right, so Roanoke's dressed in ranger gear, so he looks a little bit more similar to what I've seen, at least on my travels up here. So I will kind of like lean over to him and whisper, "Are friendly goblins a thing up here? Why are you sharing a table with a goblin?"
Those who can survive don't have as much of a problem Sometimes it's just enough to get by. When you live in a place where living and dying could be the benevolence of another, you kind of look past those things. Am I right in that in the background with
Yes.
the 10 towns?
Very
Okay.
much so.
Kalimvar will judge all in the end. So until someone does something otherwise, sometimes you give people the benefit of the doubt.
Well, I kind of like that thought process, but where I came from in Mirror Bar, we didn't like goblins very much. But if
Well,
you think
She seems
you-
very entertaining. I haven't seen her try to do anything that what kind of what does she look like? Rebecca, your character. What's your character's name again?
Winzira.
Winzvira. Thank you. I will get that. Winzvira. Are we aware that you're a musician? We see.
Yes,
See that
you
okay.
have seen me play my lute every now and then, depending on your preference. You either find it very nice or you find it very screechy.
So after being told this by my by my halfling friend, I look over to you and I say, perhaps you can share us with one of those tunes. My friend, I'm sure, would be very interested in hearing. And I lean
Yes.
back over to Filbert and say, she's actually pretty good.
I second the motion. Please play. If you
I
can.
would very much enjoy a song after spending several days on my own in this blistering cold.
Well, you
Anything
know,
to warm.
Lysander always says that using your art to bring light to the world is a form of worship. And so, of course, I would love to hear you sing.
We're putting you on the
Well,
spot.
100%.
Sing the one where the
I
dwarves
wasn't asking
roast
you to
that.
actually sing, but
As a character note, every time she starts talking about Lathander like that, I do grin because I'm always my character would be fascinated by the difference in how she's approaching other people with her faith versus me. So I would just grin and kind of be amused by that approach. So
Well, it's going to happen a lot.
Rebecca, I love that you didn't even need me to ask you to roll it. But in general, do wait for me to ask, because there'll be some times that I won't even need you to roll, but then we might have to take the roll. So.
Sure, that's fine. I didn't actually mean to
Excited.
click that.
it's a good roll.
Oh, that's okay. That's okay. So you see this small diminutive figure. Now, understand that while most of you have shed all of your cold weather garb for the generous warmth of the tavern, which is being provided by a near bonfire like fire pit that is in this very center of the tavern. Your new friend, she's kind of kept her hood and her cloak about her to keep a little bit of a low profile, perhaps. But as you all seem to encourage her and ask for her to play, you see her stand up, and she climbs up actually onto the table. And she whips in a flourish her cloak's back, and you see the bald head of this goblin. And Thea, being closest to her, you see a tremendous amount of teeth, a lot of teeth in this in this big grin as she steps up, and she pulls out what I guess could be called a lute, loosely. It looks more like driftwood and pieces of. It doesn't look good, and you expect it to sound worse. But as she puts fingers to it. She begins to pluck out this melody. And it's not like anything you've really heard before. At first, you think it sounds a little bit discordant, but then there's things that almost seems like there's more than one person, as as this melody and this harmonies start to form, and you can see this look of concentration on her face, and these teeth they come out of the bottom, and there's teeth everywhere, but her fingers are flying, and suddenly you forget that you're seeing her, and you're actually hearing, and in your mind it calls forth butterflies in a field of wildflowers, and sunlight
Aw.
dapple down through leaves of a tree, and you feel warm inside at this amazing spell of the music cast forth to you. But then she stops and looks around a little bit sheepishly. And before you know it, her hood's back up and she sits down and the spell is broken.
I will start clapping in appreciation, forcefully clapping as I would, clap, clap.
Anyone who can bring the light such as you must be blessed by his light. Oh, what a gift you have!
Oh, thank you. It's my one yet.
And when
That
Zira,
was
around you, you notice that when you first jumped up on the table, you didn't notice it, but certainly Albion, you noticed that she was getting some scowls from other tables, some of the dwarves and humans around, seeing a goblin up on the table. Hands went to some daggers and sword hilts, but as she played, that all went away, and smiles started pouring off, and not only at your own table, but other tables now. There you hear the pounding of mugs on the table, in appreciation of your music.
that was quite lovely. The dwarves in Mirabar don't care much for flamenco-style guitar, and it's been many years since I've heard such a lovely tune.
Thank you. I've been practicing so long.
It is lovely. Thank you for entertaining us with your talent.
Yes, you made me feel welcome in this bitter land. This is the first smile I've had in many 10 days.
Now, how long have you been up here doing this survey that you were talking about?
I've barely gotten here. We crossed over the spine and began to set up camp when we were ambushed by a group of 3 frost giants. And
We're lucky to get over the spine, considering the weather.
yes, that's very true. It was an arduous journey, but we made it. Unfortunately, my companions did not survive that attack, and as I was trying to escape, as I mentioned, a tribe of orcs came in and began cutting down the giants, and as one remained, he was beginning to finish off the orcs that were there to save us. And they were down to 1 orc themselves, and I was able to get my bow out and knock one last arrow and take down that giant before he killed that last remaining orc. And as a sign of thanks, the orc gave me a gift of his tribe and told me where this settlement was, and then vanished on the wind, like almost like a ghost.
Quite an adventure.
Well, huzzah to you!
Thank you.
Excellent.
I am
We're
lucky
lucky
I
indeed.
made it this far after the fact by myself, but I figured it would be easier to get here than to head back over the spine and all the way down south to Mirabar. I certainly wouldn't have been able to do it on my own.
So, what of your original intention? Do you have benefactors that you should be writing to let them know that you're safe and everybody else is dead? And what do you do now?
That's another bit of a sad story, I'm afraid to say. My mentor, Croven Stone Column, a fantastic surveyor and cartographer that I was training under in Mirabar, unfortunately kind of got schemed and swindled out of his business by some powerful families in the dwarven layer of Mirabar. And
Scoundrels.
scoundrels indeed. He was kind enough to train me and teach me for free because my family did not have enough money to really pay for the costs. But he recognized my talent and wanted to see me flourish. So after his business was devastated, I promised him that I would head out and make enough money for him to relocate, and the two of us can start his business again in another town.
So,
So
is he join to join you here? Was that the plan?
I was hoping to make enough money to send back to him or to return to him, but I believe now that I'm in some sort of town, I will send him a letter tomorrow and let him know what happened and how he can reach me.
I don't know
Maybe
I don't know what
Yeah, how
courier
are
is
you
going to
gonna
be
get him
traveling
to
in this mess.
that's what I'm afraid of.
Yes, unfortunately, the sending of messages and receiving them has not been very good as of late.
But I'm sorry, I'm going back. Maybe you explained this and I missed it, but you were hired to come up here where we've had terrible, by most people's standards, weather for 2 years to do a survey. That seems a little odd.
It's was to be a very well-paying job, to say the least, and being in my situation, I wanted to capitalize on it so I can help my mentor.
So they were offering you a decent chunk of change to survey a place covered in snow that nobody seems to be able to escape from. Nothing odd about this.
I was not aware that people were not able to escape. most of our contract involved the mapping of the way over the spine to this area,
Well,
which we were doing a fairly good job at until the giants hit us.
it makes sense it would be dwarves. They tunnel underneath where the cold can't reach them, right?
Yes.
Out of
And
curiosity, Mick,
As
have
I
we
speak,
ever- Go ahead. As you speak.
I just rattle my fingers on the table and whisper something to my raccoon, who then immediately runs into the rest of the tavern, scampering about all over the place.
That's
What
a-
tomfoolery is Battle Axe up to?
There's a raccoon running around. Okay. Nice catch. No, I'm kidding.
Is that your?
What I was trying to say before, Mickey, was have we ever run into another one of these cartography expeditions? I'm not saying they would be commonplace or anything, but have we ever even heard of one?
Yeah, that's not uncommon.
Okay. Thank you.
A little suspicious there.
I-
Getting a little tense for a second. But then I could see that you need another pint. That's where you are. And I go
Yeah.
wait for the tavern lady.
What did we
So,
all notice him speaking to the raccoon and the raccoon running off? By the way, or is this just something more subtle?
I totally
Oh,
noticed.
oh no, everyone noticed it.
Okay, okay.
And what you'll see it do is climb up the side of the door. With a looking down at three individuals inside the tavern.
yeah, so as you guys all kind of follow the raccoon, who's caused a
Kind
bit
of
of
hoping the whole bar noticed this.
a lot of them, but it is a tavern, and there are a lot of people deep in their cups because, no sun and cold, and there's nothing else to do.
Yeah.
But certainly, some of them see this raccoon. You would think, however, that there'd be a bit more of a reaction, but apparently that's not that strange uh, for the Northlander. But you look over, and you, now being called your attention to by the raccoon, notice what Albion had kind of already noticed. You see three stocky figures, um, still bundled all up in their cold weather garb. They had noticed where the raccoon had come from, and it looked like they were looking around the room. But now they start to stumble towards your table. They each have snowshoes slung over their backs and ice picks fastened to their belts. Two of them seem to have thick beards, crusted with ice still. The third holds up a gloved hand and says through a thick wool scarf in a raspy voice, "Well met! I'm Uma. These are my friends, Korux and Storm. We need help, and you look very capable."
They're saying this to the raccoon?
The raccoon is what brought me to this table.
Okay. I was a little confused there.
When you look up,
Somebody has had one too many pints.
they are,
It's a legitimate question.
judging by their size, they appear to be the height of dwarves. It is a little bit difficult to tell because they are wearing cold weather gear. They still have all wrapped around their face, and only their eyes are visible. However, the two who have not spoken are the ones that beards come out from below these scarves wrapped around their face.
I'll say
Well
to them
met.
in Dwarvish, well met. What is this help that you're looking for?
I can understand that.
Yeah.
I'm checking myself right now.
Kind of thought those were
I
your
can
employers.
understand that too.
Switching over to Dwarvish.
Subtitles.
Well met. We are the survivors of a group of dwarves, your brethren, tasked with delving and delivering a sled of iron ingots to Bryn Chandler. Yet, a Yeti surprised us and killed most of our group. The rest of us fled as the Yeti tore Obuk to limb from limb. Now we need someone to help us, to go back, to get the sled for us. I can offer payment. Each of you, this fine group of adventurers, which clearly you must all be, because why else would such diverse people be sitting here? I can offer you each a gemstone with 50 gold pieces. I can. And not also without value would be the friendship of dwarves of Icewind Dale. It could be a boon in these hot times. You'll need snowshoes, of course, to make the trip in good time. But will you help us? Will you take up the cause?
Friendship
Yeti?
I
of
look around
dwarves.
the group, curious what everybody's reaction initially is to this offer.
I zero in when he says the Yeti. What of the Yeti?
He said this in Dwarvish, though, right?
She did,
Yeah.
yes.
So I have no idea what she just said.
I say in common, what of the Yeti? Did it escape or did you find it?
The Yeti tore our friend apart. We fled. We were no match for a Yeti. The last I saw, it was feasting upon my friend.
I translate what he had said to common for anybody who did not speak Dwarven.
Well,
So you want us to go get the ingots, the sled of ore.
The dwarf unwraps this scarf, and you see, with significant lamb chops on the side of her face, but it is a dwarf woman who has been speaking to you.
Well, I tell her
That is exactly what we would ask of you. Her voice is definitely has this kind of raspy, phlegmy kind of quality to it, shall we say.
in Dwarvish, I say, well, this simply cannot stand. People are losing their lives. You had to watch your poor friends. It's terrible. I can't speak for anyone else here at the table, but I'd be happy to help you with your quest. And then...
Wait, Michael, can I interrupt? Mickey, I'm sorry. If this is where we might do an insight roll to see if she was telling the truth, correct?
Well, what you would want to say, as point of parliamentary procedure, is do I believe what she's saying? At which point, then I would tell you then to roll an insight, or maybe not.
I'm questioning her story a little bit. I'm just curious if there's any truth to it.
Absolutely. And since there's so many DMs at the table, I will say this too. I am a huge fan of Xanathar's use of using various abilities meshed with skills, right? So a persuasion is oftentimes always is charisma, right? But a persuasion done with some kind of intellect property of it, you know, I'm trying to make a logical argument or I'm speaking a thing, then you would roll an intelligence check and add your persuasion bonus to it. So I do that kind of stuff all the damn time because I think that is one of the greatest things 5e's ever done is introduce that. This, however, is a straight insight check and has nothing to do with that. It just popped in my head, so I thought I'd mention it.
Is that something passive, or do I just like automatically believe her? Because I don't know.
If you ask, do I believe her? And I'm trying to ascertain it.
No, my chick is completely gullible. She absolutely believed her. So.
Yeah. So go ahead and
We should help that.
Roll an insight check.
Yep.
Friendship of dwarves and the promise of money is not a terrible thing.
Let me see if I can get it to roll one die.
Let's put it this way. My mother just happened to have been killed by a Yeti.
Okay, so just so you know, you are rolling whispers, Joe, so that only I can see those in the chat. You might want to take that off.
Okay.
So do you have the on the top of your character sheet? You should see public to GM. Public should be red. Advantage, normal, disadvantage. Click on normal.
I'm on normal, and I'm still.
And you're still rolling twice.
Yeah.
All right. So click on disadvantage, then click on normal. You might have a little bug there where it's doing it to the.
Yeah, that's
it's
really
not taking
weird.
your update.
There we go.
Yeah, but we're still gonna go. We're still gonna go with your first roll, which was by the way, a 5. So
did you want me
you absolutely believe every word. I mean, she seems earnest. So trustworthy.
My character, Roanoke seems a little stern when he says, "My mother was killed by a yeti. I will go," but I point over towards the gnome and I say, "No, no, it's not the gnome. I'm sorry, but the goblin," and I say, "But only if she goes."
I will get up from the table. I will walk over to the dwarf and I'll give her a huge hug. Be like, of course I'll help you. That's so sad. I'm so sorry for your loss.
How does the dwarf react?
She kind of. Well, thank you. I guess. Okay. You see the other two kind of step back a little bit. One of them kind of goes to reach for the pickaxe on his waist. And as he does so, you notice that 3 of his fingers of his hand are gone. And they end in these kind of blackened stubs. The other...
Madam Dwarf, what was your name again?
My name is Runa.
Is that Runa?
Hruna. Runa.
Well,
Don't
Haruna,
worry, we'll help you. I promise. And then I'll let her go.
can you tell us exactly, at least to a most point, where this Yeti attack happened?
And where are the ingots?
Yes.
Well,
I'm sure when you were fleeing that it was hard to exactly remember where. I understand that, but a general vicinity, at least somewhat
it
smaller,
is
would be
fair.
helpful.
It is fair. No. You're right. I in my distress, I have been rude. I am Runa. These are my friends. This is Cornox and Storn. And we are grateful for any help that you might give us. Storn would be best to tell you where we left the ingots.
I listen intently.
You see,
I'll take out
a sense for the topography of where he's describing.
yeah.
I would take out my little journal and a quill and some ink, so I can kind of mentally or sort of just like map out the way that he's describing it.
So as she kind of asks Storn to tell you which way, the direction, they kind of all start to unwrap these scarves that they have been wrapped in so that they can speak. But as you do so, the one you notice that had reached for his pick with the 3 fingers missing, as he goes to go take off his facial coverings, you also notice that his nose is also gone and, and blackened as well.
Frostbite is a bitch.
Yes.
What a lovely place.
Those of you from here are well familiar with the effects of frostbite. So Storn,
This is very common, or have people learned to deal with it?
Well,
That it's not that common.
you know well enough what it looks like. You know, the time spent up there. You certainly know what frostbite looks like.
Would there be any kind of feeling about somebody who wound up with frostbite? Like this is a common thing?
Oh, it's very it's pretty common.
Okay.
It's pretty common, and in the last 2 years, it's much more so. It is far colder than it used to be. We're talking like -45, like most days. You know,
It's sweater weather.
yeah. If it's exposed, it's going to get frostbite within not very long.
So me as a halfling, I'm very upset that I have to wear boots. Can't let my little furry feet scurry along the ground here, I guess, huh?
Not if you want to keep them.
Yeah.
All those
So
little piggies.
you see, so this the other individual takes off his scarf. He's got the long beard. I mean, we're talking. It's not just frost in his beard. We're talking solid pieces of ice now that just hang from his face and are slowly starting to melt. But we're talking solid ropes of just ice in his beard, and he doesn't even seem to notice as he looks at you and says, "Well, yes, I could tell you precisely where we were heading back down from Kelvin's Cairn. You know the Cairn, aye?
Aye.
Passing through
Hi.
Yes.
the dwarvish field, the valley of the dwarves, as you big folk like to call it. We were precisely almost halfway.
Precisely almost halfway.
Almost, yeah, precisely almost.
Well, you're not dwarves, so I can't really be giving you precise directions now, can I? None of you.
If you want us to help, we're gonna need a little bit more.
So you leave here, you head towards the Cairn. When you get about halfway, you'll see it. Now, the Valley of the Dwarfs, to east to the west, from one side to the other. We were in the middle of that, halfway there. Lots of halves.
Okay.
Right?
I'm DM. I'm gonna try to leverage my wanderer skill and my natural explorer for the Arctic, and see if I can ascertain what I know of the surrounding area, and try to triangulate the very vague and dwarfy nature of how he's describing this, and see if I can get a general idea. And if I do, I want to try to feed him some kind of a location that might get us to be on the same wavelength.
No, fantastic. Okay, so do
I have a DM
this.
question.
Roll first of all, Mitch. Roll me a survival.
Survival.
Yep. Go ahead, Tara.
Okay.
So how does assisting help in this system? Like, can I use the fact that I'm from there and like my history to assist him in this assertion that he's doing?
I wish that you'd let her say that first.
in a lot of things, yes, you could, right?
Okay.
In this one particular thing, I'm gonna go with just what. So his survival, right? Because it's separate, and you guys just met, and so. But yes, in future, you could say, I'm gonna help. So if I'm gonna help him do something, that would give him advantage, as opposed to you doing the same thing, and you both roll. Now, why that's important is if, say, he's better at a skill than you are.
Mm-hmm.
You want to give him 2 chances at it, as opposed to the 2 chances of you being him with good skill, you with bad skill, right?
Yeah, got it.
But in this particular circumstance, I'm going to say, so, all right, so Roanoke, you sit there and you dip your finger in the ale and you sketch out on the table. Like, okay, so if the sides of the valley are this way, blah, 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 and he looks over and he pulls off of his glove and he goes, and you notice that his index finger, his pointer finger's gone. But he dips in his middle finger and he points down a stubby little dwarf finger. He's right about here. And you get
no clue.
And you get you get a pretty good sense. Actually, it's in the middle, and you should be able, without too much difficulty. You're not certainly given exact coordinates, but you get a sense.
I look back to the rest of the group and I say, I could find it.
It's fairly straightforward. Mickey, as As a guild artisan with the cartographers and being trained by dwarves and listening to them speak to non-dwarves, would I have a sense of how this guy is saying precisely almost halfway? Like, do I have a pretty good sense of his way of describing directions to a non-dwarven person?
You do, and let's figure out how we would do that. So roll me a So I like that Roll20 has the query. So roll a cartographer. Wait, let me tell you the whole thing though. Roll a cartographer's perception test at advantage.
Okay. Now this was working last night.
So if it says actually, what it's going to ask you is, so it's cartographer's wisdom. So it's a cartographer's rather wisdom at advantage. So all you have to do, I see what you're doing there. So go get out of that. Stop doing that.
Okay.
So close the little thing. Close the thing. So just click on cartographers. All right, first of all, click on advantage up top. So click advantage up top first.
Yep.
Now click cartographers, and it should query you, and then say wisdom.
Nope. Clicking on it, it's not doing anything.
Okay, so under tools, when you click on cartographers, what happens? You got thieves tools and then cartographers, right?
Yep. Nothing's happening when I'm clicking on it.
All right. Well, it works for me, so I'm going to do it for you, and then we'll figure that out later.
All right then.
Good roll.
Thank you.
I don't know why it's not working for you.
It was. I mean, last night when I was playing around with it, I mean, it was popping up, and it was giving me an option of wisdom, intelligence, or dex or something.
Right, because that's what the query is, right?
Oh, there we go. Here we go. I think I got it.
Right, it's query attribute rather than.
Exactly, and that's from Xanathar's.
There we go.
Yeah.
All right, your
I'll
roll
give
is
you.
a lot better.
I'll give you the 16. I'll give you the 16 for the narrative's sake. You've dealt with dwarves your entire life. You were trained by them, so while everyone else is frustrated with this description, you're like, no, I get it. I get what that means. It means it's right here, right? So you go, and as he goes, puts on the finger, you jot it down, right, in your notebook. And all right, I think I could find that. You don't know the area, but you feel pretty confident that if you see it, you'll be able to match it to the little description he just gave you with the, the wet finger on the table.
Gotcha.
With a combination of his knowledge and my Arctic awareness, whatever you call it, would I be able to assist him in zeroing in?
We shall see. You'll have to get out there and see.
Might be able to assist you to zero in. I don't know the landscape at all, but I understand the way that he described the directions. So it might be better. It might be better for me to assist you as you're scouting out.
So as you guys are doing all this, Runa pulls out a pipe out of her bag, and she's been packing it, and she starts smoking this little stubby little pipe in her face. She goes, "So, do we have an accord done? Will you do it for us?"
I would agree to help, Runa.
I agree to help.
How much again?
50 gold.
I agree to help.
50 gold and friendship.
Well,
yeah, what exactly are we doing?
I don't have gold per se. That's not what I said.
50 gold piece gem.
I do have, and she pulls out. She kind of leans back and kind of like looks over her shoulder at you, and I have these. And she pulls out this little ruby.
Shiny. Yes.
Better than gold. They don't weigh as much.
And they're
True.
shiny.
I see.
By
Do-
Doomathorn's beard, that is a gorgeous ruby.
Do we what is the commerce like in 10 towns when it comes to gems? Do we see a currency like that a lot, or is that something unusual?
Absolutely. It's you're the upper crust of the Sword Coast, but you're still part of Faerun, the currency of the realm, and often gems are used so that you're not lugging around 400 pounds of gold. So yeah.
Yep.
No, it's this is a good offer.
Yes. I agree to help you get your ingots back.
Now understand that hard goods such as the ingots of steel, such as firewood, such as food, even right now, after 2 years of no sun and not being able to have a lot of travel, are worth more due to the inflation because of that environment than they used to be. So gold and gems don't necessarily go as far as they once did up here. However, they still spend, and they spend well.
Are they going with us? Did they indicate whether they were going with us, or were they looking for us to go on our own?
Are you asking her?
They have not said.
I wasn't sure if it was already said. Yes, I'm going to ask them. Are you going to? Are you coming with?
No, we will not be coming with. We're going to tend to our wounds, grieve for our friend, and my gems will do the work for us, will they not?
Okay. Do you have a sleigh or something that we can use?
We had a sleigh.
No.
The ingots were upon it,
Well, I think as part of the deal,
which we fled.
You should fund a sled as well.
Well,
the sled will be there when we get there.
It'll be there.
See, now there is the intelligent man in the group. Clearly.
And I think you said something about snowshoes at the beginning.
Yes, that too.
How do
Well,
we?
that's true. You will need snowshoes.
Okay. How is everybody going? Maybe
Well.
6 pairs.
Mm-hmm.
6 pairs of snowshoes.
In all sorts of sizes.
And and so that would at least be reasonable, given that we're not asking for payment necessarily in advance.
Well, that is somewhat reasonable. Who's asking?
Well, we all would need snowshoes.
No. Who just said that? Was that Mitch? Was that you?
Yeah.
I'm still trying to get to learn Neural voices over the thing.
I had
Mitch,
intention of making up a voice, but I just
roll. No. Please, no. It's just it's all good. Roll a persuasion for me, please.
okay. I'm on fire.
Look, you seem to be a capable adult. I think you can find your own fucking snowshoes. Now, if I've made a mistake and you're a bunch of wee little lady boys, then fine. You go back to Chult, you fuck the hell off. Otherwise, go to the store, get your snowshoes, and I'll pay you. Or I'll find other people who seem to be a bit more capable.
Just because I'm small doesn't mean I'm worthless.
Oh no, you're a wee darling. Those teeth,
Luna,
I'm not gonna fuck with you.
I mean,
Good.
on her, in her defense, it would be a lot to ask of her in advance to find snowshoes in all of the various sizes of our motley crew. She has just been through an ordeal. She had to watch her friend being consumed. So I can understand both sides of this query.
This one gets it. All right, listen. I'm not a cold-hearted bitch. All right? She takes a puff on her thing. All right. Watch yourself. So, I have told you who these ingots meant to go to, did I not?
No.
Actually, I don't think you did.
No,
yeah, I
you
don't.
didn't.
That's not in my notes. I don't remember you saying that.
Well, then
You don't
that
make a deal and then all of a sudden they add in additional information like that. Who are they meant for?
well, and
That was our fault for not asking that before.
Yeah.
I assumed
I
they were
was,
his
I was assuming
or
we
hers.
were bringing them to her, but
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, you're bringing them to
But if
me
they-
so that I can deliver to the client. But yes, of course, that might actually help knowing where they're going. The battle hammers are the ones that you will be delivering these to. Ultimately.
Wait, hold on a second. We thought we were talking about bringing it to you.
We
Is
are,
somebody
but
else involved?
oh no.
We are. They're meant for Battlehammer, but what she's saying is we bring them to her. That's Joe speaking. Not.
And this does not take a roll whatsoever. All of you except for Filbert know exactly who the fucking battle hammers are. They are the Dwarvish clan, the largest Dwarvish clan. They run the mines. They are huge in 10 towns.
Are they honorable or are they?
Oh yes, absolutely.
So then, hearing that it's for the battle hammers, we know we would get paid. They wouldn't try to double cross us.
Oh,
They have a
not
reasonable-
not only do you know that they won't double cross you, you now realize the clout and of that favor of the Dwarvish clan that she said originally.
Yeah.
It just went from a good deal to a
It's hers.
ooh.
As soon as I,
This
as
is a
soon as I
very
heard that, I
good
said,
deal.
All right, we'll get our own fucking snowshoes.
That's what I was saying.
He
All
caught
right,
on.
we
I
leaving?
poked
Yeah.
his shoulder. He caught on.
Well, listen.
Well, I certainly.
I won't look it. You know Blackthorn Blades, yeah? That's where we're going to be bringing you to doing anyway. So just go over to Blackthorn, get your stuff from them. They won't be taking advantage of you.
Thank
All
you
right.
for that.
Well, thank
So-
you very much.
So Blackthorn is paying us, or are you paying us?
No,
I'm
I'm
confused
paying
now.
for
I
you.
think
Listen, what
Okay.
I would ask you to do is not really tell them that we lost it, if you understand what I'm saying.
Of course, and I kind of like tap my nose a little bit. Of course, I
Yeah,
get you.
you know, that's why it's worth the gems to me.
Where are the battle hammers, by the way? Where are we going to be taking it? It's one of the other towns, or is it another settlement?
No, you bring it back to here.
Yeah,
Bring
yeah,
it
we bring
back
it back
to
to
you.
this woman who is.
But the battle
doing this
hammers, I'm
job
curious.
for them. Yeah.
Are they part of like an entire town of their own, or are they?
The clan? The Battlehammer clan? No, not so much. They're all throughout the 10 towns.
So do we want to provision up, or is everybody ready to roll?
Well,
I
you
thought
did-
it was
You
headed
need
towards
your
the-
snowshoes, Mr.
Yeah.
Fancy Pants.
Pants- My pants are far from fancy,
I
but I'm
would
going to have the
say
nicest
that
snowshoes.
I would say, and this comes from Proverbs of Lathander, number 1142, that new tasks should be started at the dawn of light, and none shall start in the dark. So I very much suggest we get our shopping done, get a nice rest, and I can wake all of you up in the morning for some salutations to the sun.
Is there no sun here, though, from what I
Yeah,
understand?
that's the other thing
There.
is you have not seen the sun in
He's
2
still
years.
there. He's still there! I have faith! It is behind the clouds and the snow. There is nothing that can defeat Lathander. His light is still there.
There's a wall right there. I know that the snow is still on the other side of that wall. It's her argument as well. So.
All right. I don't know. That seems like Auril is. What's the name of the Frostmaiden? We were aware of the Frostmaiden.
Orally, yeah.
Oriel. Yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
But in all honesty, when Filbert walked up, it was I didn't write the time of day down, but I do believe it wasn't morning.
A little
so-
afternoon, I
Yeah.
believe.
Yeah.
Yep. It was at the high noon, so he actually was able to walk the streets in what felt like twilight, as bright as it ever
I remember the
gets.
twilight line. Yes. So I say we buy our provisions tonight. We get some rest, and as our compatriots said, we launch off in the morning.
So Blackthorn is a merchant.
It is. Well, Blackthorn is Blackthorn Blades.
Blades. Okay, so that's
But they
Sword
also
is-
sell. They also sell all kinds of gear.
well. Let's go to Blackthorn Blades. Sounds like we have a plan.
I need to go and visit the privy before I go shopping. though.
So on that point, we shall take a 5-minute bio break.
Okay.
Sounds good.
Check mine, check two.
Certain amount of guilt that I ignored the bard in our religious fervor to discuss pantheons and whatnot. So I would like to apologize to her in the morning when I see her, offer her breakfast or whatever. So when that happens, I want to address that. Like, just, hey, I'm really sorry. Can I get you breakfast? Can I, I'm sorry. No insult was intended.
Oh yeah, the same. For sure. I'm sorry, sometimes when I get in my cups, and I find a fellow worshiper, plus, them paladins, they can be kind of charming, so...
I don't understand. And
I lean down and whisper to Winzeria. They're still drunk.
so they okay.
And I walk away.
Probably.
Maybe they'll make sense later today.
Nope.
Probably not.
Anyway,
So anyway,
even if she ignores me, I still offer to pay for her breakfast. So
Thank you.
everyone owes me 5 copper.
Yeah, okay. So I gotta do math then, is what you're asking me to do.
So you wake, you
One
stumble
gold
down. Some of you worser for wear, some of you well rested. It is still dark outside, as you well know. And as Filbert is becoming to know. So, what say you?
Eat,
I
get
say
our
we head
stuff.
off as soon as we possibly can.
yeah, let's head out. I got this map that we could use for a little bit until I fix it and make it better.
Fantastic.
I'll coordinate with you anything I see. Are we going?
Yeah.
Okay.
I
Roanoke.
think we need a marching order.
Hold up. Roanoke tears out quicker than most people would move in non-snowy conditions, and then stops and looks back and realizes, "You coming?
Not all of us moves fast.
Make your marching order, but I'll be out front."
Oh, I'm out there. I'm good to go. I'm like, all right, let's go.
Well, leaving the Northlook, you guys decide to head directly out of the North Gate which is just mere steps from the tavern. And judging by your map, you're able to pretty much figure out, and you know where Kevin's cairn, you can see it, for God's sakes. It rises above. It's the largest mass rising out of the tundra, visible from pretty much most places in 10 towns. So you start to head in that direction. You strap on your new snowshoes, and you make pretty good time. It's very dark as you guys start to
anybody who
move.
might be trying to put them on and see if they know how to put them on. Is anybody fumbling that needs assistance?
Most folk, it is not the first time that they've worn them. However, the halfling is looking at them a bit strange, as they never have worn them before.
This goes here, and then you tie it around like this, and then just make sure you don't do it on one foot. You got to do both at the same time.
I have no idea what he's talking about.
I do it for him.
My 8 intelligence roll.
I tie his shoes like the child that never had.
Just
Well,
so I can get
he's
this
not
fine,
used to wearing
everybody give
boots,
me
for
a copper.
God's sakes, much less snowshoes.
Yep, here's your copper, sir. There you go.
Thank you. I just wanted to make sure that mathematically I can put it behind.
You should never mathematically put anything behind you.
I have not given you your copper yet.
Well, I mean, 7 did 8, 9, so.
That's true.
When I get change of a silver, I'll get you some copper.
Okay.
So you guys start to make your way out towards
Roanoke, being an
Kelvin's
outdoorsy
cairn.
kind of guy, are you good with mentally tracking distance as you're walking?
Absolutely.
All right. Just as we move along, I may ask you, certain distances from here to there, and I can jot notes down as we're going.
Okay. Well, I'll scout ahead, make my way back, and if I see anything notable, I'll let you know.
How far ahead are you scouting?
Not out of eyesight, if I can help it.
Thank you.
As he shuffles away, like, if you need help, let me know. He's already like 60 feet ahead of us.
So, out of curiosity, how deep is the snow once we get outside of town?
Are you digging a pit?
No, I'm walking. I'm just walking. I'm worried
It's-
about the less heighted people in the room.
It's deep. It's deep. You don't know how deep it is. You're walking on the surface of it. That's what the snowshoes allow you to do.
Yeah.
So,
Just checking if
That's why we have these
literally without
big
digging
snowshoes.
getting out and digging a hole and trying to find the actual frozen ground underneath, you have absolutely no idea. It has been 2 years without the sun. It is snowy, drifty tundra. You have no idea. None. All right, so you guys begin to make the trek. Do you have a leader, a navigator, somebody who's out front?
I would
Do you
say
have-
the cartographer guy should be the fucking leader.
or the ranger is in front.
Yeah, and then like map guy after that.
Okay.
I'm fine going second and having the map guy behind me, because if I'm the point of reference you're looking at, like follow the big guy,
Right.
and the ranger comes back to me. Like if everybody's following me behind, I mean theoretically that's what my brain is. Joe's thinking.
You can
So-
you can just call me the cream filling. I'm in the middle.
Yikes!
I'm in the back.
Where's
God knows it would be the first time.
I'm
Where's
following the
Elvie?
goblin. I will follow the goblin.
I would have figured that we would have our paladin be further back. No, that makes sense. Wait, you're a paladin. Never mind.
I'm the tank, so I
Absolutely.
should be closer to the front in my theory. Anyway. So So what's the lineup? So it's Ranger, me.
I would walk.
Who's behind me?
You could also
Yeah,
go two. You could also go double file. You know,
Yeah, I
Oh,
mean,
yeah.
I would be walking.
there's all kinds of
close to-
geometric patterns. I can't.
No, there's not. Only straight lines.
Just a straight line.
We have
Single
to.
file
We have
only.
to hide our tracks so that no one knows how many there are of us. That's a no. I'm
That's a
kidding.
myth.
Um,
It's a myth.
I would
no,
agree
just
with him on that.
generally. Yeah.
On the myth part, or the fact that
No,
stand
the
people
fact that
walking
you can cover
straight
your
lines.
numbers.
to hide their numbers.
Are we?
Actually, if you want to cover our numbers, then the Goliath should be in the back.
Yes.
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 Because
point.
your footprints will cover up everyone else's.
That's
Yep.
right. And then some. All right. Single file. You go. No problem.
All right, so you're walking single file. Goliath in the back. Ranger at front.
Ranger up front.
Yep.
Then Filbert. Then Thea. Then the two little ones. Or the guys. And then the Goliath in the back.
Okay. All right. So,
Okay.
Roanoke, give me a survival check.
Ooh. Okay. Survive. Screw that. That's not going to happen. I'm going to pop my inspiration.
There you go.
That 19 was right there.
I keep screwing up these rolls. This is good. This is my time. This is my moment.
Hey!
There
you go.
All right. So,
Wait, hold on.
That's a big difference.
It's a big,
Yeah. For real.
so
I just
you
unclicked.
guys, you head out of the north gate, and you start out onto the open tundra that is the vast majority of Ten Towns area in Icewind Dale. And Bryn Shander is up on on top of a hill. So you start to make your way down, and all that's all well and good. But it is still the night, this unnatural night, and it's very difficult navigating. You don't have, the view of the cairn to take into place. So you rely upon the skills of your new friend and ranger. And you are successful. You're able to navigate by the stars that do peek through to course correct. And you make your way for several hours along the right path. And you start to head out into the tundra and into the Valley of the Dwarves that you've been told that this load of ingots and this dog sled is somewhere out there.
Are we there yet?
Are we precisely almost halfway there?
You're starting to get out there. And as you're making your way, something not uncommon in the Icewind Dale and Ten Towns, but a blizzard descends upon you. It reduces your visibility to 20 feet. And that brief views of Kelvin's cairn that you had vanishes from view in the blowing snow. And as wind engulfs you, you find yourself lost now within a blizzard.
Fuck.
So,
Tie ourselves together or find shelter.
Where's
I could save two of you in my tent. I'm kidding. No, we definitely should. We either need to make a shelter or find a shelter.
Let's tie ourselves together so we don't get separated. One.
I agree.
So
I
do you
have him.
see
I have.
our ranger who went up front, or we don't see him anymore.
Oh no, I would reduce the distance within
No.
about eyesight.
He's only 20 feet ahead, so you don't lose sight of anybody within the party because you guys have a marching order. But how do you want to deal with the blizzard?
I think we should pull ranks a little bit closer, and we should. I have a rope on my pack. We should either tie up, or we should all be holding on to the rope.
Yep.
I cast fairy fire on That's not a bad thing.
Nope.
On the ranger.
What's this?
Actually, fairy fire is
It pretty much just
it's a
illuminates
range.
them, right?
It's a range. It's a area of effect spell. So
Okay, each object in a 20-foot cube of me. So I click the spell then, right? And then it goes into the chat window?
Yep.
Alright, cool. So I cast... So any affected creatures shed dim light in a 10-foot radius, but it's each object in a 20-foot cube within my range, which is 60 feet.
So everyone can either make a dexterity save, or if you understand what she's doing to you, you can choose
Like
to
to stop.
fail your dex. You can choose to fail or not make a dex save and just accept it.
Do we know what she's doing, or are we aware?
Probably
I will
not,
say-
since she didn't say.
I call out. I will say I call it. I'm going to illuminate you, but whether or not you hear it or not is up to, I guess, the DM's discretion.
Actually, no.
With the loud storm.
It will be up to everyone needs to roll a perception at disadvantage to be able to hear her over the storm.
Perception.
Filbert hears. Roanoke, you do not hear. Albion
14.
hears. And it's coming up Joe, and it's fucking me up. Dodvin, you also hear. The DC was 10. So,
So I don't
Renzira and Roanoke, you don't hear her over the howling of the wind. So as the two of you start to feel this strange tickling, electricity almost feeling start to caress over your body. You can choose to either fight it or to, we'll say that you not knowing what it is, you need to roll a dex save. Those of you who failed it. So, Roanoke, up front, you feel that, and you kind of like instinctually, you shrug it off, and you don't begin to glow.
One person you probably wanted to glow.
But when Zira, you're unable to push it away, and you begin to glow. So everyone except for Roanoke up front is now lit up with a. Well, Filbert, no, you.
Yeah, I'm going to re-roll that because I was on disadvantage when I rolled it the first time. So.
That's okay. So disadvantage, you take the first.
Okay. So
Yeah.
it would be a 25.
Yeah. So yeah, you.
Now you have to concentrate on this. Though.
No. See up top. See you heard her yell out. So you have the option to either choose it or not choose it. So are you choosing to get lit up or no? Filbert. So your perception, your perception test, you heard her yell that out.
Yeah, I'm just trying to get my mindset into a scout.
Sure.
I would probably actually resist it.
Okay. So your 25 would be the actual roll on your dex save. So you are able to resist it. So you do not light up. So right now everyone has got a little bit of this kind of witchy kind of purplish glow about them, except for Renoke and Filbert.
So we tie ourselves together.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Minus the ones we can't see.
Why am
No,
I
You
little?
can,
What's going
you can
on?
see me.
you can
I'm-
still
I'm
see
within
them.
20 feet of
Yeah,
you.
you
can see
guys
me.
are still close enough that you can still see.
Okay, good. All right. I will call out again. I cast this spell so we could find each other ourselves within this storm.
Yes, but monsters can also see us better now.
And
too.
understand that fairy fire only lasts for a minute.
Yeah.
That's what I'm. Yeah.
Well, the person behind me was talking about tying ropes, so I thought it would be convenient.
Yep, it's certainly easier to tie up the rest of you.
It was a nice idea.
Yes.
It
So
was a
let's
nice
do
idea.
this. Let's tie ourselves together so we don't get lost. Or if you want to camp out, I'm happy to stand out here adjacent to the tent. I'm not feeling the cold the way that you all might be, so I'm happy to stand guard. But or we keep moving.
I
We tie
say
ourselves
I say we keep moving for now.
How long do these storms last up here?
Well, sometimes it's an entire day, sometimes it's a week, sometimes it's a few hours. Only Ariel knows.
It seems like it would be quite difficult to keep our bearings and not being able to see more than 20 feet in front of us.
It could be that she is trying to keep us from our task.
Are we in danger with this weather? Is there something imminent, or is it?
Remember
is
those
mostly
blackened fingers at the bar?
How far out of town did?
You guys traveled a good hour or two
We're
before the
precisely-
blizzard rolled in.
We're precisely almost a quarter of the way out of town
Let me ask
because
it again.
we're halfway to halfway.
Let me ask it again. Does anybody look like they're being affected by the cold, by the blizzard, in a negative way, other than the inconvenience?
I mean, eventually, it will cause problems. Is there
Wait, hold
before the
Before we continue with another question, could we just get an answer to that question?
The cold doesn't seem to be worsened by the blizzard because of your gear, your clothing. What is affected is your visibility and your hearing are greatly reduced by the storm.
I would prefer to hunker down.
Yeah.
We cannot see in this storm, but remember what the dwarves said. They got snuck up on by the Yeti.
And that's why I'm volunteering to stand guard, is I'm not as affected by this weather as the majority of you. So you guys can hide in the tent for a little while. I can stand adjacent to the tent.
All right.
That's fine.
Your visibility
wanna
is
say,
not any
Zero?
better, or your hearing is not any better than anyone else's.
Right.
He
Then
just
I
is less
am not
susceptible to
saying-
the elements.
I was only talking about the elements.
Okay.
So. But I'm
You
happy
have-
to continue on as well. So, but I think we're going to get lost.
Did you have something you
I-
wanted to ask, Windira?
No offense.
I just wanted to know before the blizzard hit if there were any like trees, like clumps of trees, or like a hill or something that we could like
no,
buffer the wind.
absolutely
Okay.
not. No, you guys are out in what is known as the Dwarvish Valley. It is tundra. It is flat and snow.
So this is what I'd like to do. I have a shovel.
Okay.
I'm gonna try and dig some igloos, and I'm gonna try and motion towards others, especially our Goliath.
I have a shovel and I will follow the lead.
Sounds good. Let's build some trenches and try to get ourselves under a kind of an igloo type structure, at least to reduce the wind shear.
Both of you give me a athletics check.
Right. Oh, what is wrong with my roll? All right. I know what I'm going to do. This happens every once in a while with roll 20.
So,
I'm going to leave and come back.
so the two of you start to dig with your shovels, and your ranger, he's not really getting in very deep. But then in comes your Goliath friend, who starts. You just see snow flying everywhere, and he digs out this huge hole, while the ranger's still trying to get through the top layer. And,
Once I see him playing snowblower, I stop and watch.
yeah. So he digs down low enough, and you guys are able to hunker down and get some of the relief from the storm. And
when I'm done, I do say to him, "Thanks." Thanks for the help.
so about 2 hours, the storm blows, and you see it kind of blow itself out, and you look over the edge of this, and now it's actually in that kind of that midday time frame where there's a bit of a twilight light, and you can actually see the sparkling of that little bit of light on the new snow, and everything is pristine around you and almost swept clean. But you can see in the distance that darker shadow rising above the ground of Kelvin's cairn, and you can clearly see the direction. Yeah.
In that situation, because I'm still relatively new to 5e, if he had said, "I want to offer aid to Dodvin," I would have done that dig at advantage. Right?
Correct.
Okay. Versus him rolling separately. Right. Okay.
Yep, that's exactly right.
Thank you.
So we only lost a few hours.
Yep.
No toes.
Nope. No, you guys dug out a little bit of shelter and were able to hunker down. And you're all dressed in appropriate clothing, which is most important.
Shall we continue on?
Yes.
All right. I'll get a lay of the land. I'll use my wander ability. I have excellent memory of maps and geography. I can always recall the general layout of terrain. I will try to reevaluate using that. Maybe get a good look at our halfling's map and see if I can get more bearing on where to go from here.
Yeah, you do all of that. You take good stock and you start to move directly towards the cairn, which you can now see in this brief respite of actual twilight that you only get briefly every day. And you crest a snow-covered ridge, and you see, just on the downside, a frozen, dismembered corpse in the gully in front of you. Snow covers some of the gory bits, but the headless torso and severed limbs are visible.
This must be her friend!
To your ranger's eyes, you see tracks in the snow all around the corpse, and the telltale grooves in the snow left behind by a sled that has been hauled away.
Son of a bitch.
Those fuckers. Death to all Yetis.
Question.
Hold on. What
Is that
sort of
normal
tracks
for a Yeti to do?
No, I don't think so.
That's why I'm saying, what sort of tracks?
Somebody want to check the tracks?
I can check the tracks.
That's survival, isn't it?
So who's doing that? The ranger?
Does somebody
Then-
else want to do it? I'll do it.
Then give me a
Maybe they
survival.
hate 'em?
Give me a survival check.
All right.
I'm still working on my survival proficiency, so you're probably better off at it.
I had to
Looking at-
reload.
Looking at the tracks around the corpse, you can get a good sense that these are fresh tracks, actually, made within the last hour because there was a blizzard. And-
Are they,
and-
humanoid or bigger?
Well, looking at them, you can see that they probably belong to at least a half dozen small humanoids wearing snowshoes.
Fucking
And
kobold.
these tracks are leading off due south.
Yetis would not push a sleigh away. We are obviously not dealing with Yetis. They got
It could
jumped
be-
and didn't want to admit to being attacked and beaten by kobolds.
Telling you, it's
No.
kobolds.
You think
Why-
they're
why is it-
smaller than the
Why is
smaller
it
humanoids?
kobolds?
Yeah.
It's always kobolds.
They're small humanoids. Is that what you're saying? They're not medium
said
sized.
it.
They're small.
I think you said medium size, but
He said
Okay, 'cause
small.
I have to ask
They're
again.
just not Yetis. you know.
I'm
They're not
sorry.
Yetis. That's a big deal.
do
Ja-
kobolds frequent these parts? Aren't they
I
a little
should-
bit more used to warmer climates?
We have to ask the DM. We have an empty chair, so we have to wait till he gets back.
Well,
No,
my
forget this. I quit. I'm done.
H quit.
I wanted to ask that actually. How much longer are we planning on playing?
2 more hours?
What?
What?
No. I don't know.
It's
think
turned
that-
into a pumpkin at 10:38.
I think that Mickey had said 7 to 11. I don't know. He didn't.
Okay.
Yeah.
He didn't tell. He actually didn't tell me the hours. So.
So I asked it a while back.
I am
That's
sorry.
confirmed,
I'm
though.
sorry. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I had to
A
run.
bunch of questions.
I heard 'em all.
Rapid-fire
I-
questions.
I can hear. I just couldn't speak. So, first of all, in order of those questions, they are small footprints, no larger.
Told you.
Aha.
They, if anyone wants to know if kobolds are frequenting up in this area, they'll have to roll for that. Tara, I said to them 7 to 11, but if you need to leave earlier, then we can end earlier.
11's fine. I just needed to know because it is my husband's birthday. So.
Nope. Yep. And you've got wifely duties. I understand.
Yep.
And
Yeah.
what's the skill roll to know if kobolds frequent the area?
Nature. With intelligence.
10.
There are kobolds in the area, for sure.
Can I put my footprint over one of the prints just to get a size?
You may. You may.
Exactly.
Good idea.
I'll be right back. I'm sorry. I have to take a bio break.
I had to run and do the same thing, and I waited and I couldn't. When Zira steps up to one of the snowshoed footprints and puts her diminutive snowshoe on top of it, and it almost seems to fit perfectly.
Aw.
Now we're getting somewhere.
Okay. They are an hour ahead of us potentially. So I say, do we have sight line of where they're going? Like, is it straight? Does it dip? Does it go up? Like,
It heads
what's
south.
that direction that they're?
There are no dips for the most part.
Okay.
You are literally on a tundra.
So
we could
directly
potentially
south,
catch
that
them.
isn't we just came north,
Yeah.
right?
We came northeast, I think. They're going
No.
directly south.
No.
We did?
No.
Okay.
You went mostly northeast. And
Okay.
now this is now diverging. but you can
Okay.
clearly see. You can clearly see. So while there are not like valleys and dips and whatnot, there are the occasional croppings of ice block. There are some stunted frozen trees that maybe thrived a couple years ago, but now are just skeletons that are ice encrusted. So there are things that break up. It's not just a flat plane.
Mhm.
Right.
And certainly, oh my god, what the hell's the matter with me? As you get towards the edges of this, it's called the Dwarf Valley because it's like this groove. As you get to the edges of it, there are more geographical pieces where with some raised elevation on either side. Now, the tracks are heading directly towards that edge of the valley.
So if it is kobolds, they might be heading towards a cave, which would then take them underground or some kind of encampment. So I guess the question is, with an hour and them pushing a sleigh, we may be able to catch them if we don't dawdle.
Everybody
And
ready
then
to make
what?
the move? Well, we'll figure it out when we catch.
Well,
We
take our sleigh back. I mean,
figure out.
we're here.
Yeah. Let's
We were
first figure
hired to
out
get
who
the
has
sleigh.
it.
Yeah.
Are we ready to move?
But I mean, if I know what I know about goblins, there's usually going to be a lot more than just 6 of them.
Well, we don't know if it's goblins. There's lots of creatures out here.
Hell, if it's kobolds, from what I remember about kobolds, there's going to be more than 6 of them.
Yeah, well, you know what? I'll do my best to see them before they see us,
Fucking knew it was kobolds.
and then we'll make a plan
That's
But-
Lathander. Lathander speaks to me
directly to you.
directly to me.
So, being out here in the wilderness, are creatures like that kill on sight?
Absolutely. Kobolds never have any good intentions.
They say that about goblins.
No, it's a reasonable
I would
question.
take offense if you tried to kill me, but
I would
No,
not allow
she's-
that myself.
She's far too good of an entertainer to
She's the best flamenco guitarist I've ever heard.
But that is,
For Mickey, our movement in the snowshoes. How slow are we moving in the snowshoes versus our regular movement? Is it
Normal,
half? Is it
normal speed.
Normal.
So who's our slowest mover then?
It would be me and Winzira and Albion, I believe.
I'll be at 25 feet.
no, I'm at 30 feet.
Oh,
What?
then it's the halfling and the gnome.
When
So
Zia's like,
25. Fine, yeah. I say go.
But I'm just making
Goblins
sure.
are faster.
Yeah, goblins have the full speed. I remember that now.
They move at 30. Goblins?
Yep.
Kobolds?
Yep. I'm
They're the only
classified as
small race
small.
that do so.
she just walks quicker, man. Have you never been short before?
So here's
All my life.
Many years.
the main question. We catch up with them, and there's 4 of them, or we catch up with them, and there's 20 of them. What are we doing?
Well, let's first catch up with them and see.
Well,
and then
we need to make a plan, because when we get there and another blizzard hits us, we need to know what we're going to be doing.
well,
And,
if we
and I
get
agree
there,
with you that we have to have a plan, but let's talk and walk.
Yeah.
yeah, we got to be on the move.
Yep.
Yeah.
So
So as we're walking, let's talk
well,
about this plan.
what I would suggest is if they're hostile, obviously we should defend ourselves. But I don't think we should attack them unless we have any specific indication that we have a specific idea that they're not going to be willing to communicate with us.
Well, of course, we should obviously offer them some gold for the ingots that they've stolen.
They haven't
If
stolen
they give us-
anything.
They found it.
If they
found
give
it.
us the opportunity to do so.
But the kobolds didn't steal anything. The
They
dwarves were
found
too
it.
weak to hold their stuff.
Yeah.
Regardless of
Maybe
how
we should
the
test if
goblins or
they are.
kobolds cross it, I am willing to talk to them or try to intimidate them out of it as part of a parlay before combat ensues. If combat ensues.
Well,
At
what
least
if we don't have a
should give the
chance?
opportunity.
That, but that's the thing with kobolds. Of course, we will try to talk to them, but I almost guarantee you that they are going to be too dumb and stupid to try to do anything because they are evil. They're little dragon demons.
That's very koboldish of you.
Let's, since you're scouting ahead a little
But I
bit,
agree.
Yeah.
I will go
you're
scout
scouting
ahead
ahead a little bit,
and
if
see
you
if I
see
can
them,
get a
don't
glimpse of them
engage.
first.
Do not engage, and you should also come back every once in a while within a certain amount of time, because if you're suddenly gone for too long,
That's a great
Then
idea,
we
That's a great idea, Paladin. Actually, that's almost the definition of scouting. And then I go run up.
okay.
If they're goblins, I can talk to them.
Dodvin,
Yes,
I don't.
yes. See, there we go. But I'm bound off.
Dodvin, I don't think he knows your name yet. He keeps calling you Paladin.
Because he called
No,
himself.
I don't call him Paladin. Oh, he calls me Paladin. Yes. Well, so what?
Is that a term of
I'll live with
affection?
that. I have been called worse.
So far today.
But thank you for calling my attention.
Well, we should keep moving to stay up close to him, but not too close to him, but close to him. But then again, not too close to him.
We're not flying casual, damn it.
We should stay precisely almost close to him.
What are you, a dwarf?
So after about
Lived with him for about 40 years.
a half hour of trekking, following these tracks, you proceed around, as you see, kind of an ice cropping, and you come around the edge of it into an area that, as it's getting closer to the far side of the valley, you see some of these frozen trees, and there's certain areas now that have some jutting bit of rock and frozen bouldery type of things that the snow gets blown around. And looking down just past that, in the distance, almost at the edge of your vision, you see the creatures that you have been following, and they appear to be goblins based on their stature.
No snap.
All
think
6
Missouri
of
is.
them seem to be groaning and grunting and cursing loudly enough for you to hear, even at this distance, as they haul the bulky sled that they're trying to pull up towards what appears to be a 20-foot tall wagon parked further off in the snow. Harnessed to this conveyance are 2 roaring polar bears that do not look happy.
Oh, kill the goblins.
Wait a second.
Windara!
This makes me feel. This just has a little bit of a Tatooine sandcrawler feel to it. These are Jawas. These are totally Jawas.
Yep.
Winzara, it's your people! Help us out here.
Yeah, maybe they talk your language. Do you have a language? I don't know much about goblins, so I apologize.
Oh.
That's
Is there a
cool.
goblin language?
So what
Yes,
you should be able to see now what you see off the far
Yes,
distance.
what we're seeing. That's pretty cool. That's pretty cool.
Oh, and by the way,
It's very sandcrawler.
see for a moment, my character is so ignorant of proper ways to address race like that. So if it seemed offensive to a goblin for me to like, hey, it's goblins, go talk to the goblins, like, she is totally allowed to be offended. Just putting that out there.
When Zero is not smart enough to even know what that is.
Okay.
When Zara, I will gladly walk with you to go communicate with them to lend aid in your efforts in diplomacy or intimidation.
Actually,
Yeah.
you should go on all fours and make like you're a polar bear.
No.
It's,
No.
it's
I
good.
pat you on the head for the idea, but I say no. I have standards.
Yes, in Goblin Society, if we have big, strong person, we are top of the food chain.
All right, this is your show. I'm
I
gonna
will
take out my
follow you.
bow
I'm lending it.
and
So.
just kind of play Overwatch from a little bit of a distance. I'm not gonna point it, but I'm gonna knock it and hold it down.
Listen, we need you focused and not playing Overwatch while we're doing this game.
So, with Sarah, is this the plan?
I'm much more of a Skyrim player.
Are you comfortable with this?
Yeah, let's go.
She can do it.
And mechanically,
probably only
I
she
am
can
more
do
than happy to lend you aid or to do any of the, I can do persuasion, I can do intimidation. I'm happy to help you in those departments, or do it you aiding me. Like if it's intimidation, I might have a hand on you.
We'll go walk up to them, and I'll try to hail them in Goblin.
Okay. So, Mickey, just to let you know, my shield is definitely on my arm, but I'm not drawing my weapon until I'm gonna try to appear vaguely peaceful at first.
Gilbert, do you have a bow?
I do, and when he says that to me, I try to kind of stealthily position myself behind him.
Very good.
Wink, wink.
So
with my
I might provide cover for some of you, technically, in certain situations.
with my naturally stealthy Lightfoot halfling ability, I would like to tuck myself behind him.
Before
There's a
Winzara
joke here.
wait. Before Winzara takes off, I give a prayer up to Lathander and I say, Lathander, please guide us. Let this small goblin woman be your vessel to heal all these wounds and misconfusions in our lives. And I cast guidance on Winzira. So what do I click for that? I click the
Nothing.
chat bubble?
Nope, you don't have to
Okay.
do anything.
Alright.
She just adds a D4 to in the next minute to any
Yeah.
skill.
Wazera, would you be offended if I offered you my arm and because you said something about looking like you're the boss of the big person might be beneficial? If I've got my arm out and you're kind of sitting in it, then you look like you've got a ride in this condition. Maybe that's intimidating, or maybe that's useful. I mean no insult.
Albion, your
Yes, sir.
general passive perception allows you to be able to tell that the goblins who are trying to slug this very heavy sled through the snow and are struggling and grunting and groaning, there's no way in hell that they are aware of your guys' presence at this point.
We should just
And we
swoop
could-
in and
We could
totally-
probably just throw them a couple gold and they'll just let us fucking have it. I'm telling you.
we could probably just roll them.
But that might not go over well with our goblin
I would.
party member.
I'm totally saying that.
Yeah.
I should probably preface it by saying
I
that's
am
not.
totally
What?
torn right now.
What
because
does
of the polar
Wazera
bears.
actually think? Winzera.
However,
So-
I will defer to our goblin ally and allow her to communicate with them first.
All right.
Do it.
Well, this hasn't been time elapsed. Boom, guidance.
Albion's the one, the giant, right?
No.
No,
that's
me. Dodvin.
Dodvin. I say that's a good idea. If it looks like you are my mount, I will have more credibility.
Done. You want on the shoulders or you want on the arm? Quick before our minute runs out.
we'll do the
Shoulders.
Okay. I pick her up as gently as I can. I put her on my shoulders and I take off to go towards the goblins.
Okay. So
You want me
you're
to yell for their attention or something?
What are you doing? Are you running towards the goblins or?
So if I'm not mistaken, I could do I could yell to get their attention. If we're trying to communicate, that might be a better. And I could just do a dash instead of because that just gives me an extra move if I'm not mistaken. And I'm following her lead. She's the one who can communicate with them. Do you want me to yell to get their attention, or do you just want me to get closer?
Just get close enough to be in yelling distance.
Okay, so
and then just kind of just wave your arms, and then I will try to hail them.
To the map I'm seeing, I just saw 120 there.
Yep, that's about where you'd have to get to.
The 120 is where I'd have to get to?
Yep.
Okay, so I guess dashing or running. Is there a run?
No, we'll just I got you. You're not in combat, so
Okay.
there's none of that right now.
Okay.
And you're taking
I'll
with
just-
you your friend.
She's no encumbrance.
No, I know. And the rest of you are all staying back there.
Now, I would like to move forward and motion to the rest of the party that we should come up this way.
I'll move forward some, but not enough to where it would feel like we were threatening them.
We're not threatening them.
Where are we? Hold on.
Well, do I scroll down to the bottom, Mitch?
Are we within range? We should stay within within longbow range.
I think you're well within longbow range.
Okay. Because we have to move up. I want to move up.
Longbow is how many feet?
Longbow.
Longbow,
Mickey,
I think
I'll
is like
Mickey.
150, 600 or something like that.
Yeah, so you're like just at longbow range.
Yeah, Tara?
None-
Or I'm at 120.
Not an official roll, but let me see what it says.
So there's this like
Fantasy
pop.
600.
There's this like pop out thing right now. Do I need that, or can I just exit so it's not blocking my
What's popping out?
It says like foaming mugs.
That's
That's
just the
the,
handout.
picture he just
That's just the
showed.
picture. So yes, you can close that.
Oh, okay. All
And
right.
now that will always be available in your journal, so
Okay.
you can always refer back to that.
Okay. I just didn't want to close something that I shouldn't.
Honestly, the wagon drawn by the two polar bears was a cool image. So congrats to you for finding that wherever you found it. That was nice.
Well, that's part of your generous contribution to purchasing the
Yeah.
the Roll20, so I didn't have to build all that. All right, so you guys get within, you start to come up, and as you're about to go, this one goblin towards the back here hears you guys coming and kind of turns towards you, and you have a brief moment where as you're walking up, you see him kind of like look over his shoulder, and you all look at him, and he looks at you, and you look at him, and he looks at you, and then you're like, he's like, "Ah!"
I would yell
It-
at that point if she's not speaking. So.
In Goblin, I'll say hello. What have you got there?
I will aid. Puff out my chest, whatever.
Roll a persuasion at disadvantage.
Ooh. I thought I was going to offer an advantage.
She's perched on top of a fucking giant hairy bastard.
Wow.
Okay.
It's dropping a big roll.
All right, so Sled, the fuck are you doing there? What is that?
I found him. He's my mount. Do you
Ro-
like?
Roll a persuasion at disadvantage.
But wait, don't forget, if you want to, you can add the D4.
That would have been on the first one.
That no mount. That big man. And he he yells out, "Big man! Big man! Big man!" At which point, the goblins all stop and look over, and they scream. "Ah!"
He's my big man.
And at that
I'm
point,
gonna take advantage of that.
everyone needs
Yell
to
intimidation.
roll advantage. Roll for initiative.
So that's
We have-
happening before the. Okay.
I think that
So
went very well.
at 5 to 11, I think that is where we'll call it.
Okay.
No,
But we're gonna roll
So you
initiative
want us to
first.
roll the initiative?
no. We can start off next time with
Alright.
rolling
Oh,
initiative.
So we're okay. We're
Cool.
not doing it this time. Okay.
Okay.
No, you've got your
Cool, yeah.
husband to take care of. And
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
Oh, I just meant initiative. I already rolled it, but that's fine because I rolled a fucking 2, so that doesn't count.
no, it'll be easier to pick that up next time. So
All right.
So
Well,
let's determine what next time is. It can't be next week.
well, so who can't be here next week? It's
That's
two of you,
me and
right?
Mitch.
Me
Yeah.
and David. I mean, if you guys want to go on without us, that's fine. But
But what about the following week?
The following week, I'm
following
good.
following's not a problem. Just the next weekend.
So if you guys
Just next week. Just next Tuesday.
Yeah, it's all up to you guys, man. 4 and 2 out. It's probably best if we wait just to get going.
yeah. I mean, we're pretty early in. So.
Yeah, so if you guys are okay with taking a week, we'll take a week and reconvene. I think that was pretty fun.
Yes.
Yeah.
Agreed.
Yeah.
And 7 to 11 is our usual time then, right?
Correct. Yeah.
All right. I'll update my calendar.